actually a new Plan Commission member. If she could be made a panelist, please.
Yep, here we go. Thank you very much for letting me know.
Thank you.
Now 5:30 and a quorum is present, so I will call this meeting of June 24th to order. First, we will get some information from our technical facilitator, Sherry.
Welcome to our virtual meeting. If you lose connection at any point during the meeting, you can reconnect by clicking the link or calling the number in your original email. Members, if you are able, please activate your video for purposes of quorum and keep it on for the duration of the meeting. Staff, if you are able, please activate your video when you are speaking. All panelists, that is Alders Committee and staff, have the ability to mute and unmute themselves. Also, please continue to use the raise hand feature when you'd like to be recognized to speak, ask questions, or request a roll call vote. Lowering your hand will take you out of the queue. Members of the public who have registered to speak, the name you entered in Zoom must match the name you entered in registration. You will remain muted until called upon. The clerk will tell you when your time is up. After speaking, a member of the body may ask you a question. If you need to share documentation with the committee, please send it to the email listed on today's agenda. Thanks. Chair, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sherry. First, we will go to agenda item 1, Legistar 60306, public comment. And I don't believe we have any public comment. Is that correct, Bill?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. Next, communications, disclosures, and recusals. First, as a communication, I want to welcome our newest Plan Commission member, Anjali Basin. And Anjali, if I mispronounced your name, please let us all know what is the correct pronunciation.
It's Anjali Basin.
Okay. So Basin, was that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And then the first, it's the A should be a U sound in the first name. It's
Anjali. Okay. Think I got it. Thank you. And welcome. We're glad to have you join our ranks. So thank you. Then members of the body should make any required disclosures or recusals under the city's ethics code. Are there any disclosures or recusals? I see no raised hands, so we will move on to minutes of June 10th regular meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Seeing no raised hands, is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alder Ugair, seconded by Commissioner Solheim. I will assume unanimous consent unless I see a raised hand to object. Commissioner McCahill.
I'll abstain.
Okay, thank you. So Commissioner McCahill will be marked as an abstention. Otherwise, it's unanimous consent. Moving on, schedule of upcoming meetings. We have regular meetings on Monday, July 8th, July 29th, August 26th, and those are at 5:30, and those will be virtual meetings. Then we also have a special meeting on July 11th. That is at 5 o'clock rather than 5:30, and that will be in person, room 215, Madison Municipal Building. And that's at 215 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Next, we'll move on to the consent agenda, which is delightfully robust. And I will read through the agenda items and then ask if there's any requests for separation for any of those items. So agenda item 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are all noticed as consent agenda items. Are there any requests for separation of any of those items? Seeing no raised hands, I'll read those items into the record. So, in addition to approvals, we also do referrals and placing on file. Bill, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yes, Chair. I just wanted to note that we did have a registrant on item 2, and because the recommendation is to place that on file without prejudice, staff contacted that registrant to let them know that was withdrawn, and I believe they were fine with that then, and I see they are not in attendance. But the registration report I just ran 5 minutes ago showed 2 registrants for agenda item 4, both wishing to speak and both in support.
So are you saying that there is someone wishing to speak that would require us to take an item off of the consent agenda?
Well, they are both registered in support, so I don't know what your practice has been, being fairly new here, but they are both registered in support.
Are they representing the applicant?
They do not indicate they are who they are representing.
Okay. Typically, we would contact them in advance to avoid having to take it off the consent agenda.
Yes, they both registered at 5:17 and 5:18, so we don't really have a chance.
Well, since it's not in opposition, I'm inclined to let it go ahead and go through on the consent agenda. They aren't going to change any outcomes by.
Just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, because it doesn't show up here. Okay, so agenda item 2, that item is to be placed on file without prejudice as the application has been withdrawn by the applicant. Agenda item 3, Legistar 8 through 83269 is to be referred to July 8th at the request of the applicant. Agenda item 4 on the consent agenda, Legistar 83480, located at 6334 Mill Pond Road, Alder District 16. Consideration of a conditional use in the commercial center district for storage and warehousing, and consideration of a conditional use in that same district for a building exceeding 25,000 square feet for an individual establishment to allow construction of 3 storage and warehousing building. Agenda item 5, Legistar 83599, creating sections of the Madison General Ordinances to change the zoning of property located at 3110 Dairy Drive from Planned Development District to Industrial Limited District in Alder District 16. And then agenda items 6 and 7 are related and are to be considered as one public hearing. Legistar 83287, located at 6402 Schrader Road, Alder District 19, consideration of a demolition permit to demolish a street-facing facade of a private school. Agenda item 7, Legistar 83288, same location. Consideration of an alteration to an approved conditional use for a private school to allow construction of an addition. And then agenda items 8 and 9 are also related. Agenda item 8, Legistar 83533, amending the City of Madison official map to remove a mapped reservation for a future north-south public street located at the southwest quarter of the northeast quarter of Section 30, Township 8, North, Range 10 East in the City of Madison on land generally addressed as 2202 Darwin Road, Alder District 18. Agenda item 9, Legistar 83674, approving a revised certified survey map of property owned by B&G Real Estate LLC and Opportunities LLC, located at 2102 and 2202 Darwin Road, also Alder District 18. Do I have a motion on the consent agenda? Alder Ugair, is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Solheim. Did you wish to speak to your motion, Alder Ugair?
No.
Okay, thank you. And I will assume unanimous consent unless I see a raised hand to object. Seeing no raised hands, the motion passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is business by members. Is there any business by members? Seeing no raised hands, next is the secretary's report. I would just note that this is vastly different than 2 weeks ago in terms of our meeting. So, secretary's report, Bill.
Thank you. For the secretary's report, wanted to give an update on a busy council meeting last Tuesday, following up on your busy previous plan commission meeting. So the project in the 3420 through 3614 Milwaukee Street. So that was the Starkweather plat and rezoning, better known to some by the Voigt Farm. So that rezoning and preliminary plat was approved by the council last week, as was the Essen House rezoning and CSM in the 500 block of East Wilson Street and 134 through 150 South Blair Street. The Occupy Madison Tiny House Village rezoning on South Stoughton Road was approved also last week, as was the the apartment project, the rezoning of the apartment project at 515 North Whitney Way. And finally, the rezoning and CSM for the 138 unit apartment proposal in the 6610 through 6706 Old Sauk Road was approved by the council. I wanted to note for the commission that that an appeal to the Plan Commission's approval of the conditional use was filed, and staff has determined that the appeal was valid in terms of its form and signatures. And so that appeal will go to the Common Council. It will first be introduced, so it can be noticed, and then it will be acted on by the council at a subsequent meeting. We are still working to schedule when that will be, but as you may or may not know, that will require a 14 votes of the Common Council to overturn the Plan Commission's decision. So the Common Council will get to talk about that project again at an upcoming meeting. But like I said, dates to be determined.
Bill, what
Yeah.
was the vote on approving the rezoning for that?
Off the top of my head, I think there were 4 votes against it.
Alder Ugair?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
correct. One older had an excused absence, so that's why 18 votes.
Thank you.
As far as upcoming matters, there are a few items of note on the upcoming July 8th, your next meeting. Before you will be, you'll be asked to weigh in on adopting the sustainability plan update. The next 2 items listed on your agenda are related to some porch light projects. So the first one at 521 East Washington Avenue is a proposed 8-story building with 70 apartment units as well as some office space. So that's scheduled to be on your next agenda, as is a project at 306 North Brick Street. So it's Porch Light's current location, where they're proposing to demolish that building and build a 15-story 189 unit apartment building. And so that will be on your agenda. Also, a few items down, wanted just to note, if you're following along on PDF, at the very bottom there, it kind of continues on to page 5 at 3901 Packers Avenue. Alteration to construct the remaining phase of mobile home park for additional 80 units at that location. And then on your July 29th meeting, possibly update on the Urban Design Commission ordinance update. That's going to be going to the Urban Design Commission for discussion on Wednesday, and there's still some discussions going on for that, but right now it's at least tentatively scheduled to show up on your agenda at the end of July. There's a project in the 1400 block of Monroe Street. So some of you may be familiar with the Shell athletic practice facility, primarily that is attached to Camp Randall Stadium. So they're proposing to replace the Shell with a new athletic facility and parking structure. So that is tracking to show up on your agenda on July 29th. Another apartment building, 603 South Whitney Way, that has some commercial space and 167 apartments. So this is part of the JT Klein project at the corner of Whitney Way and Seago. Tokay. I'm forgetting the name of what the shopping center was there that was demolished, but there are.
Westgate.
Thank
Westgate.
you, Westgate. And so, this is another building in that project that's been under construction now for a couple years. And then the last thing I wanted to highlight for you is a proposal on the 3500 block of University Avenue. Again, another apartment project that would have 71 apartments. So that's also tracking for your second meeting in July. So even though your last meeting was busy, this one's a little lighter. You probably have some more typical agendas coming up for your next couple meetings.
Okay, very good. Thanks a lot, Bill.
Thank you.
Any questions for Bill? Seeing none, looking for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Alderfield. Seconded by Commissioner Solheim. And I will assume unanimous consent unless I see a raised hand to object. Seeing no raised hands, we are adjourned, and I will see you on July 8th. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.